Well, hey, I just got the cue that I'm live. So, welcome to another Thursday night here on the Korner, man. As you can see, we rotated a little bit. My man J Mac out with a toothache. My man's here can tell you all about toothaches. I remember when you had a toothache one time, dude. Your whole mouth like swelled up like a baseball, bro. So so you already know how Mac feeling right now.
Toothache is one of the worst pains I felt in my life.
You know where it come from, right? Eating too much candy. That's your problem. You be eating too much candy. But anyway, welcome to the Korner, man. I'm MK3, the host. At Mr. Kirkland to you. You know where you can find me at. My guy to the left.
Spitter, a.k.a. Kamari.
Where can they find you at, man?
Hey, you know, I'm on Instagram, Ink My Body Like a Picture. Twitter, first name, Kemari. You can't find me off of that. You don't need to find me.
Straight like that. You have to. They got to find you. So, man, it's kind of a kickback week this week. We're just going to chop it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Drop a couple jewels. So, what's up this week that you've seen in the news that is newsworthy to you?
There's a whole lot of BS going on in the news. A lot of kids missing. A lot of kids walking from Waverly to a school with no shoes on. Parents not knowing where their kids is at.
It's not acceptable, y'all. I mean, I saw the article the other day about there's a little toddler that was by the train tracks without no parents, and like that blows my mind, honestly, because my parents are strict, man. I couldn't even shoot. Street lights came on, I had to be home. And besides that, it was just, you know, it was such a strict leash anyway, because you know my parents, and they're not really for the games, you know what I'm saying? So to me, seeing now the kids are just missing, kids going to school without coats. I mean, I understand financial situations ain't always that, this, that, and the third. Man, come on,
Unacceptable.
That's unacceptable, man. I really kind of, it's hard right now, and then you don't have no kids, correct?
Nope.
So, you know, when you interact with a lot of kids, you help coach, you know that you can kind of tell, I would say, you can kind of tell who is struggling and who's not. But I think also it's just, you know, I feel like there's ways to prevent that. I mean, nobody likes to necessarily ask for help. I get that. But at what point do you just break down them pride walls for your kids and get exactly what you need? Because there's no reason like kids should be going without, I mean, it's 2 degrees outside, but there's no way you should be outside or doing anything of that nature.
Your pride should be put aside the minute you have a kid.
Ooh.
Pride goes out the window.
Ooh.
Your kids' needs come before your pride.
Dang, you said you don't have no kids and you knew that? Man, there's a lot of people who don't know that and have plenty of kids, have a starting 5 and a 6-man coming off the bench and still don't get that concept.
I'll go without. I'm a big Jordan head, big sneaker head. I'll sell every pair of shoe I have in my closet if it means I got to put clothes on my child's back, food inside the fridge for my child, or a roof over their head.
No, we skipping out on the Jordans then, right?
What's that?
You're skipping out on the Jordans then if that's the case, correct?
I'll sell every single pair I got and not buy a single pair ever again. As long as my child, I'll give my child every single pair of Jordans. I'll walk around in a pair of Converses.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I think what you said was true. You hit it on the head with the pride. A lot of people have a lot of pride issues, and so when that gets in the way, that can affect a lot of stuff. I know personally, pride has humbled me a few times, trying to bite off more than I can chew. You know, humble pie. You know, that's something that always goes down easy, but it's not that easy to I guess to grasp it once it already happens. You know what I'm saying? Because hindsight is always going to be 20/20. And I think that's something that really messes people up too, because everybody would have done this the right way then, but you know, we humans, we got to trial and error. We see that the red burner rings is on the oven and still want to be like, you know what, let me see if this is really actually that hot. So, oh shit, it's hot. Mm-hmm. So, but speaking of pride though, who you got this weekend in the fight? I'm speaking of the pride of the Irish, obviously. Conor McGregor, Cowboy fighting this weekend.
I like Cerrone. I've heard Conor put on a little bit of weight, though, so he may be up to that welterweight standard a little bit more nowadays than he was, you know, fighting, you know, saying previously about a year and a half ago when his last fight was. But I've always been a Cerrone fan, so I'm going to give it to Cowboy in 4.
Oh, 4. It's 5 rounds, right?
Yep.
This is the thing, man. I was watching dude all week. Connor's a character. I appreciate dude's energy. I appreciate it because dude don't know when to shut up. And I'm cool with that because you know what I'm saying. I don't like to shut up. I like to talk. Obviously, that's why we're here. In case you didn't know that, but I don't study UFC like that, and I probably should, but I don't. So I'm gonna say that I feel like Conor could win only because Cowboy I know is getting a little old. Conor ain't fought since what 2016 or 2017 when he had that fight with Mayweather. So I don't know, man. I feel like it's a wide open range.
Conor's head might not be into the Cerrone fight because they're trying to make a big super fight with Jorge Masvidal. So he may be kind of like
passing.
Kind of like what we say with basketball, maybe a trap fight. Whereas you say it's a trap game. Your head might not be on your specific opponent.
Okay, he looking forward, looking down the road, like, yeah, I got this, I'm about to eat, and then, oh, wait, hold up.
Now, basketball and fighting different because all it takes is a punch or chance. You get one little solid hit, you get one solid takedown, back game, grappling, anything can happen. But if your mind isn't necessarily prepared for the opponent in front of you, then that leaves openings, gaps for things to happen.
Right. See, I saw earlier they was talking. Conor was talking cash shit to Cowboy a few years ago at their press conference. They got to dude called them a leprechaun, talking about some Lucky Charms. And dude said, "Yeehaw!" loud as hell. I think this fight's gonna go crazy only because we have two people, and this is not don't take this in any type of way, but I feel like when you have two, especially two angry or chilled out Caucasian males that are about to fight, is usually going to be a good one. I feel like anybody could have a good fight, but I feel like just these two in particular, man, it doesn't really matter what they look like. But you got Cowboy, who he's pretty chill. I watched kind of some of his behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? He was cool with his camp. They train hard. He was taking them to go play paintball outside in the freezing cold and stuff. Like he's an extreme dude that likes to have a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? Conor is still, I feel like, a young cat who is getting into the money. And he's seeing the dividends of it, but he also got himself into a whole world of trouble, which is also why I think I saw him reaching out for Mayweather for that other fight because he needed money, he needed a payday. But I feel like he does have that savvy and he does have that attitude that I feel like Americans, really love. They like somebody who is confident, well, not overconfident, but when you factor in that funny factor, people are okay with that. Conor does have jokes. So I'm not going to lie. I feel like that kind of helps him a little bit. I'm still up in arms, bro. I don't really know who's going to win that one. I'm going to probably say Conor, but I don't gamble. So
I'm predicting a TKO.
What round?
If I remember right, I think round 2.
How did Cowboy lose the last fight?
I don't know if Cowboy lost his last fight. I think he won the last one.
I know he had lost either one of the last two. He had lost, and from what I'd heard, it was just, somebody that made the comment he's getting old, which, Father Time is undefeated.
Fact.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know. What, you gonna watch it?
Yeah.
Where you watching it at?
My house.
There it is. So if any of y'all out there know working, no, I'm just playing. Don't do that. Don't pop up. That's not good, man. You'll be greeted with a stiff no, and I'm sure you can attest to that. Big ups to my man Sam right now. Y'all can't see Sam, but Sam the one who make everything go. You know what I'm saying? So big ups to Sam and Day 724. That's where you at. Make sure you subscribe to Day 724. Make sure you do that. It's not gonna hurt your pockets. We on here. We chilling. We kicking back this week. You know what I'm saying? We still kicking you dope energy though. Don't worry about that. I still got a couple questions and some concerns. For one, all you Chiefs fans out there, I hope they get rolled this weekend. I'm a Raiders fan, so there's no time ever in life where I'll be cheering for you. I know you going for the 49ers in that game because you a Bears fan. And so how does it feel basically to not be like, how does it feel to be like us, dude? Because y'all aren't good either.
We're trash.
Y'all been consistently not good for a minute. But like, everybody still loves the Bears though. Like people hate the Raiders. I'm not sure why. Like we were equally trash. It's really not fair.
All I can speak for is myself, and loyalty means everything.
All right, that's
win or lose. You gotta be loyal.
So win, lose, or draw, it's the Bears.
I'm a Bear till I die.
As many.
Fuck the Packers.
Oh yeah, hey. I honestly don't want them to win either. I know Mac watching out there. I know you believe they will win. They won't. So you know what I'm saying. If you want to talk about that at any point, we can definitely talk about that next week for sure when you get back. But who do you got in the Chiefs Titans?
It's a toss up. I mean, it's gonna be on that defense with the Chiefs to see if they can stop Henry. Derrick Henry's been on a roll these last 6 games.
Derrick Henry going crazy.
And if I remember right, talking to, I can't remember who exactly it was I was talking to, but they compared him to Jerome Bettis. Nobody ever wants to see Jerome Bettis head coming through a hole. And
pause. No.
Yeah, that's just like Derrick Henry. You're not gonna want to meet him head on.
The bust though? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like
Derrick
that.
Henry's got more speed.
Yeah, I was just about to say I don't know if I like that only because Derrick Henry's way faster and he's like 6'4", 250.
Yeah. So Jerome Bettis was about 5'9", 260.
I'm not trying to tackle either one of them. Or play flag football because I seen that commercial with Jerome Bettis and that was cheating for the makers of that commercial. But
I'll say Chiefs though because their offense is a little more well balanced, and if you can shut down somehow, some way, even limiting Derrick Henry to 100 yards, but shut down their passing game as far as the Titans go, you make them one-dimensional. It's easier to beat a one-dimensional team as opposed to a team with multiple weapons. Okay.
So, but 51-7, though, you can't really, 51-7? That's exactly what they did to the Texans after the first 24.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yikes.
And then if you get the defense to play along with it, that's a tough matchup.
I still think the Titans just right now they on one of them postseason roles where it really don't matter. I mean, they already took out the Patriots, which was huge, and then they took out the Ravens, which I told a few people before that game started. I said, "Hey, this is not about to be a cakewalk for the Ravens." To me personally, the bye is great for you, but the bye will also have you messing up. Mm-hmm. You get too comfortable. Oh man, we ain't practice in a week, or we ain't had no game in a week, man. We can kick back. I don't really feel people have that kickback mindset, but I still feel like it's not a good scenario for a lot of teams because you get cozy at home and then we got to play. Whole other team has had practice, game, now multiple games and multiple practices, so they're in tune, they're ready to go. But also, it doesn't really mean nothing depending on what type of talent you're playing against.
Facts, and Titans had a leg up on the last 2 matchups. Vrabel used to play for Coach Belichick and coached underneath him.
And did he play for the Chiefs too?
He did for a little bit, but not with. I don't think Andy Reid was. I don't think he learned underneath the Andy Reid tree like he learned under Belichick.
But which tree would you rather be under?
Belichick's, because Belichick is more of a mind person when it comes to football.
Is Andy Reid a bad coach?
No, he's offensive minded, but Belichick goes deeper into the game. Whereas
he's a cheater, bro.
I mean, he might be too, but you know what I mean. He thinks more than just X's and O's when it comes to the game.
Okay.
Whereas most coaches are going to conform to what other coaches are doing. Say, for instance, okay, well, we're going to go air raid, spread it out. You start seeing that a lot
Texas
more.
Tech offense, the NCAA football offense.
I don't give a damn what y'all are doing. I'm going to do what I do, and it's going to work.
He does have a strategic flow to it. I'll give him that.
Learned that, and so basically he used Belichick's own scheme and way of
and that's not cheating.
Doing a game against him. And
that's just proper preparation.
Facts. And then the game against the Ravens, you spy Lamar Jackson and shut Lamar Jackson down as far as his running game goes.
What I noticed from that one, they had him running laterally. They didn't really have him running forward.
Yep.
And you can run side to side as much as you want. I don't give a damn what you do.
I got a linebacker that spies you and he's just as fast as you. Or maybe not even as fast as you, but if he spies you and you go side to side and he's coming straight down, he's going to have the advantage to take you out as opposed to you gaining yards.
All right, so I got to make this comment real quick. To all my Husker fans out there, we have to stop talking about the whole Joe Burrow thing. Joe Burrow was not going to win no Heisman had he came to Nebraska. I'm telling you that for a fact. I know people are like, oh, man, we got Adrian Martinez. He's not even that good. First off, dude, cool. You know what I'm saying? He's clearly not Joe Burrow, but we don't have a type of line that's about to make Adrian Martinez no Heisman. That's why I think they kind of jumped the gun by saying that from the get-go. But at the same time, it's Big Red until I'm dead. So I mean, I'm gonna go for them. I just don't. I don't think that was the move. But I'm just tired of people saying, "Oh man, we passed up on Joe Burrow, dude." I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird that we did just because of the family ties. I ain't gonna lie. I wore Jamie Burrow knew my sister. I got a pair of signed gloves from him, and I wore those in high school. So you know what I'm saying. Big ups to Jamie. But it's just to me, we can't group and say we can't do the what if thing.
And you can't blame Scott Frost because Scott Frost wasn't the one who was in
Riley
when
Mr. Keeper 500.
It was Mike. I can't recruit a player Riley. So I mean, you can't put the blame on Scott Frost for not getting Joe Burrow because he wasn't here.
Somebody said he turned him down or something like that. This is my thing. I don't really care about all that. I just know the dude is nice. And shout out to LSU. I did think Clemson was gonna hang around for a minute. LSU just clearly on a whole different level. Like their wide receiver Chase, dude is unreal. Dude was fast. Dude was a whole different kind of fast. He did get away with offensive pass interference on the first touchdown.
Yeah,
that's neither here nor there.
Receivers plus a tight end that can be all around one.
Shout out to Moss's kid. Moss's kid is nice.
That is Moss.
He had a couple of he's bright. I thought Randy Moss's kid would be darker just given the fact
they got 4 receivers, if you include the tight end, that are first round talents. Nebraska doesn't have that on the outside, unfortunately.
And see, and they're going to get there. I think the thing is about a lot of things in life and sports, people got to be realistic. You can't, like, my thing with Frost is that people came in and deemed him as the savior already, but, like, dude didn't ask that. Dude didn't even coach the game yet. Oh, man, Scott Frost going to take us to the promised land. Yeah, it sounds good. It's a great narrative, but can he coach a game yet? Do you realize that we don't have his people yet? Are you coherent of that? No? Okay, cool. Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. He's going to go out there, and they're going to have a subpar couple of seasons. 4-8 is probably a little below subpar. 5-7, as much as I don't want to say this, is a step up from 4-8. It's an obvious step up from 4-8. But it's like, you have to let stuff marinate. But I feel like there's so many mixed messages in life that, it's supposed to happen right away, but you're supposed to take your time. So which one is it?
And also, where's your player loyalty? So you bring in Joe Burrow, who's a transfer. What are you telling your quarterbacks who are in your program now? Adrian Martinez, Luke McCaffrey.
Tell them to take a fucking hike.
Virgil. Like, I mean, you're basically telling these quarterbacks, like, okay, yeah, I know I recruited you, but hey, we're gonna go ahead and go with this guy because we don't think you're good enough.
It's almost like football coaches and ADs and them are like pimps. I hate to say that, but it almost is because they control what you do, basically what you eat because you got the nutrition table, what classes you got, where you going, when you can come there and do that, and it's really all what they tell you, like. Because I feel like when kids get hurt, it's just slide them off to the side. It's just well, damn, this was a good idea until you got hurt. Now, the marketing scheme, the value scheme has diminished. So next, and I don't think it's messed up that I think sports has turned into an all around business now. It's not. It's almost to the point where depending on what you're watching, you can't really enjoy it because it's just a matter of well, damn, this. I thought this was supposed to go down. Well, we found somebody. I mean, everybody's replaceable, but I feel like just, especially in the sports world now, people are just people getting sold, far out dreams. I mean, it sounds good that you're gonna come here and start for 4 years. But let's be realistic. The first time you see somebody come up on this recruit thing, where we signed a quarterback. He a 4 4-star. Hold on, man. Who's he here for? I thought I was in. I mean,
facts.
I don't know. That's how it goes. So I'm not saying that it's not. I just think there's a lot of unfair bias that goes into just the whole scheme of sports now. So I agree with what you're saying in terms of you don't want to bring him in, shake up everybody's confidence. But for those other big hitter players at these other universities, they bring in like Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Are you staying there going if you're a quarterback?
A lot of them went. A couple of them transferred out.
I mean, everybody's got literally a 4 to 6 year window, barring injuries that you can be out there. Because I know Russell Wilson graduated from NC State and went to Wisconsin, and even Greg Paulus did that. He went to the worst school in college.
Even Joe Burrow was a 5th-year senior.
Yeah, and so you have a time block, so I guess you have to use it the way you want to use it. So I can't fault nobody for transferring, but I do think that a lot of people transfer a little prematurely.
Justin Fields from Georgia to Ohio State.
And he could really be a difference maker in Georgia. And I'm not saying that Jake from State Farm, isn't good. You know what I'm saying? But would I rather have Fields? Probably so. I don't know. I think it's just sports has become so commercial that like you miss out on the gyms and the stuff like that because people's always focus on these people at these universities, but then when it comes to draft time, you see these people from Division III universities and Division II, so it's like you can't count anybody out. You have to give people an equal opportunity, but at what point, along with pride, do you put your pride aside and be like, you know what, man, I'm about to go to this D2 and get all the reps and all the playing time I can. This D1 sounded sweet, but there's just some things left out that that I can't do. You know what I'm saying? At what point do you do that? What does that look like for you? Is that being humble or is that being more just...
I think it boils down to the conversations you have with the coaching staff and understanding necessarily what the next step in your role is going to be as far as what they're trying to implement to their system. You start to realize, as a freshman, they bring in a sophomore, and this guy is pretty much going to be here for the next 2 to 3 years. Well, now you kind of think to yourself, okay, am I good enough to really just sit the pine, but have an outstanding pro day / draft combine to where I'm going to get drafted? Or do you feel you need to showcase your skills in actual game play to show them that you're an actual player?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know. I feel like everything's just shifting now, and like
so easy to transfer out, and just everybody's afraid of competition.
So okay, so and like we talked about earlier, then with pride, then so what you did track coming up. So does it vary by sports? Is the pride you feel as a track athlete different from a basketball, from a football? Is it all really the same? I mean, what went through your mind when you did it?
I think it's all the same. I mean, ultimately, if I'm on the track and I know somebody's faster than me, I'm not going to run away from that person and say, okay, well, since they're faster than me, I'm going to go to another program so I can be the fastest person at that program.
But if you did, would you be wrong?
Not necessarily, because it's your choice. You ultimately, as an athlete, get to make your decision on how you want your career to go. Me personally, I'm going to feed into that competition, and I want that competition to make me be better. Why would I run from this person if I know he's going to be the top person, in the nation necessarily? So, for instance, let's say I'm running against Kenzo Cotton back when he was at Papillion La Vista.
All right.
If I'm on your team and I know you're the fastest person, why wouldn't I want to practice with you and do the workouts you do to try to better myself?
To get yourself right.
As opposed to, well, I'm going to go to this lesser team where I'm going to be the fastest person, but I don't necessarily have somebody at my practice that's going to push me every day to constantly better my times and better myself.
And see, the thing with that is I know people want to get better, but I mean, a lot of people, I don't know, I think we're stuck in a video game era right now where people play 2K all the time. By the way, if anybody wants smoke in 2K, definitely with it. Kirkzilla 402 on the PlayStation 4 network. Xbox is for people that eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches without jelly and eat the breadcrumbs, the bread crust around bread crust for you or not on sandwiches?
Yep.
I'm not sure what the big thing is. I seen them Uncrustable things. The already pre-made peanut butter jelly. Why? I don't.
They're fire. I'm not gonna lie though.
That's neither here nor there. So all right. So what I want to know is this: what's gonna happen with the Cowboys? I've heard so many people say they don't want Mike McCarthy there, but Jason Garrett wasn't there. I mean, what? Really? It couldn't. It's not something where we can really sit here and blame anybody in particular. But I would have to say you got to blame Jerry Jones.
It's going to be a whole new world for Mike McCarthy. You go from a Packers organization where, quote unquote, your mom or dad could be his owner because basically anybody can buy a stake into the Packers organization and get a little certificate saying you own 0.2% of the Green Bay Packers. Whereas you have an owner like Jerry Jones who will be outside the locker room the minute you get done with the game to tell you, okay, well, this is how I think you ran the scheme and this is what I think you should have done. It's going to be a game changer.
I wouldn't want to work for Jerry Jones only because I feel like you can't be you when you work for him. I feel like it's just it's a circus. He bought that big ass playground for them. They still huff. They haven't been good. I mean, and I can't, like I said, I can't say anything. I'm a Raiders fan, but I feel like the Cowboys suck for one. And it's every year, is this our year? This our year, and it's never their year. And I mean, it's consistently not been y'all's year. And then y'all lose to teams that are like just terrible. And people were giving
like Bears.
I can't say anything because I'm pretty sure we lost to them, but they're still huff as hell to me. And I think it's really weird that Jason Garrett was given the time frame he did, because how many other coaches you see get canned quicker than him, or for whatever, and he was granted that long leash. So it's like like you said, with loyalty, does that tie into that, or is it just? I mean,
Jason Garrett was Troy Aikman's backup.
Right. Okay, I understand that, but at what point does that not matter though if you're not getting the job done?
Well, I mean, I like to think that and I hate to play this card, but
you got to play a magic card?
Nope, a little bit of color card played into that.
In terms of the coaching?
Yeah, because Jerry Jones just didn't want to get rid of that guy because, I mean, let's just be real. He was other than Jerry Jones, he was the face of the program for a little bit. And why not have, if it's not Troy Aikman, why not have the guy that was right behind Troy Aikman be the lead of your organization for the time being?
That's an interesting take. I like that. I think the coaching carousel is definitely messed up now, though, because if you look at it, there are a lot of bros who don't necessarily get that opportunity. I could definitely say
the Rooney Rule was implemented in 2002, maybe somewhere around there. And at the time, there was 2 black head coaches, 2 minority coaches. We are now in 2020, and there's 4.
Didn't Tony Dungy go to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
That's big. Shout out Tony Dungy for going to the Hall of Fame. That's big.
There's only, so you're talking about a solid potential 18 years where you've had a rule where you have to interview minority coaches.
That shouldn't even have to be a rule. I'm being honest with you. That shouldn't even have to be a rule.
And you still only have 2 or 4. You've added 2 more since the rule been implemented.
That's crazy. Sam, you like football?
That he gave us a yes.
Yeah, for those that know, he gave us a yes. I don't know. I guess the rule to me is just, this is my thing. I don't care who coaches. I mean, people are going to play favorites whenever they want to play favorites. People are going to keep around who they want to keep around. That's why you see so many people with these options to advance in places they have no business advancing, or being in situations they shouldn't be in. I mean, in my eyes, Garrett could have got fired in the early 20-teens, and they could have found a new coach and probably got a lot further, especially when they picked up, Amari Cooper, when they got some big names. And, people hate the card, but I think people only hate the card because it's prevalent in a lot of different issues. I don't believe that anybody else would have been able to keep their job that long.
Nope.
I mean, that looked like Lovie Smith, or it looked like Tony Dungy, or it looked like Marvin Lewis. Now hold on. I'll run that back. Marvin Lewis had a lot of time to be subpar at the Bengals.
Yep.
A whole lot of time. So I can't necessarily say that full on, but I mean, I definitely can, and I will. There are some instances where that's just not, it's a tough thing for me to understand, because I think one of the things you have to do in life is diversify your portfolio. Like, you have to be able to adapt to new situations. You have to let new people in to do new things. And I think one thing about the culture is that people love the culture, but don't necessarily like the people involved in the culture, which is kind of ass backwards, if you ask me. But nobody asked me. I was just telling you. I just think it's just such a big emphasis on not dividing, that in that same effort to not divide, shit's divided. Shit's spaced out. You know what I'm saying? Even
look at the league. The league is predominantly, for lack of a better thing, it's predominantly black. When you look at almost any team in the NFL, good 75 to 80% of the team is going to be some sort of a minority. And then you turn around and you look at the front offices of the team, and owners, general managers, head coaches. You're almost looking at 90% of those being of a Caucasian. That just signifies the divide right there.
And I think with the divide, it's not always a bad.
Do you guys think it's based on performance?
And see, that's my thing. That's my thing, because I don't want to get it so caught up into a thing where people are saying, "Oh man, no, it's not all about race." In certain instances, it is, but there are some coaches that suck. I thought Lovie Smith sucked for the Bears.
Yeah, you can check the past 10 years and you can look at the teams. Everybody who does bad, they do their job.
Yeah, right. You're right. Tony Dungy, I think, was one of the coaches that was. And the coach stunk for a while too. They weren't that great.
They keep him for a while, yeah.
But they kept him, and he turned him around, and then he kept making it work for him. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's one of the last coaches that people of color that people really willing to give a chance to. Now, Lovie Smith got back into the coaching game in Illinois, and he's actually doing pretty well down there. You know what I'm saying? Got the frosty beard and everything. That's probably what's helping him. You know what I'm saying? The power of the beard. But well, either way, it's just one of those things where so many things cross my mind with that being 34 and African American now, that I just wonder really how many opportunities in life. And sometimes people don't want to know. I want to know. I wonder how many opportunities in life I've missed out on because of this, or I want to know how many people were in the running. Because sometimes you see a coach or somebody get hired, and you're like, hold on, let me see who applied for this job first. Then you look and you're like, wait. You hired dude over.
Case in point, Chiefs offensive coordinator.
Who's that? I don't like the Chiefs.
Eric, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Eric shouldn't be there?
Believe me, whatever it is.
Oh, Bieniemy?
Yeah. So
he was cool though.
He left. Well, he's still there, but he interviewed for. So how many coaching positions just came up? The Panthers, Giants.
Oh, Jaguars. I see where you're going.
He interviewed for every single one of those positions.
And he's still at the Chiefs.
He's still at the Chiefs as the offensive coordinator.
But people were thinking the New England guy would be gone, but
Bill Belichick.
No. The assistant, the quarterback.
Tom Brady.
Daniels.
Who was that?
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah. I thought it's gonna be a head coach this year,
right?
But surprisingly, they didn't.
And I think with him, it's a personal choice though, because he's had his position, he's had his opportunity.
He been offered.
He was head coach of Denver, I think,
when Tebow got his victory.
What do you guys think about college? Because you're gonna see some.
College is a little more spread out though.
Yeah, but the issue of performance, it does show how long they keep, because there's some time. It's the same thing as for me. I look at the coaching the same way as a quarterback position. For now, it's very common, but anybody who was watching NFL 10 years ago, you don't find it.
I think college is going to change now.
Right.
I think college is going to change now because of the money. I think you're going to see a lot more superstars define themselves as superstars now, because I believe the pay is not, everybody doesn't get paid. I don't believe, isn't it just if your likeness or your image is used, then you get paid. Mm-hmm. Just like we all know, everybody's not going to get paid.
Yeah.
So it is what are the people who's in the limelight going to do? Because eventually somebody who's getting paid as opposed to somebody who's not, that's when you get the tattletale. Well, so and so goes out and drinks, after hours off campus. So and so does this. And so I think you're really going to start to see people compete at a higher level, but I also think you're going to start to see more people getting removed from teams for team detrimental conduct. People can't handle that limelight when someone else has it and it's shining a little brighter than theirs. And that's just a simple, case of jealousy and whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
And I think the style of coaching is style of playing too, even the quarterback position. I like that now with the black quarterbacks, but they don't last longer, because except Seattle.
They had some on ESPN about that. They was talking about specifically, and that's another thing I think is funny too. Like there wasn't a big name, it wasn't a big. I think the black quarterback that came up a few years ago. There was never anything said about like when Cordell Stewart played in Colorado. Nobody said nothing about the black quarterback because it didn't matter.
What happened with a lot of black quarterbacks is they were quarterback in high school. But when they get ready to transfer and go to college, a lot of college coaches say, you can't be a quarterback. I want you to be a wide receiver. Yeah. I want you to be a defensive back. Lamar Jackson, case in point. When he was in high school, his coach knew you're a quarterback through and through. when he went to start talking to colleges, a lot of colleges were saying, we don't think you can play quarterback. We want you to move to receiver. We want you to move to slot. We want you to move
athlete, but not smart enough to play quarterback.
Oh, they call you special athletes. You just get a full ride scholarship. But
as an athlete, yeah. They used to actually have that on the video game back in the day. Like, you would give somebody a scholarship and say ATH by it as an athlete. So we're going to put you basically wherever we see fit to put you. I just think just in a whole, just that kind of gets out of context of things. And by no means, you know, we here on the corner, we're not here to promote no type of one-sidedness, no nothing. But we always going to keep it real. It's opinions, it's facts. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to agree. You can always turn it off if you don't agree. My thing is, it's just there's so many ins and outs right now about, you know, the black athlete as a whole. You know, I really just think it goes back to what I said earlier about the culture. Like, now there's different, you know, segments of everything. The black athlete, the black student, you know, the black this, that. It's not necessary. I don't think it's necessary. I think, you know, everybody wants to be in that same grouping as people, you know what I'm saying? But there are those separate people. There are those stars. And I think a lot of times you see the black quarterback is usually that star of that team. And from what I've seen is that, you know, the assumption is, or the reading is, great athlete, great talent, can't do this, can't pass, you know, should move to this position. Okay.
But things are changing now. If
look
at this year.
Look at the NFL now.
Yeah,
top quarterbacks coming up: Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson.
I don't like Patrick Mahomes.
Those are just the top three right there to begin with. You know what I mean?
And Seattle guy had been there
Russell
for a long
Wilson.
time. You know, how long is it? I think it's more of a...
Patrick Mahomes looks like the girl from Roseanne.
Cam Newton. Even though he stays hurt every once in a blue moon.
And he has been there for a long time.
But he's been there for a while.
Hold on. We got to do something about his wardrobe, dog.
Rich people do whatever they want.
Man, you saw Russell Westbrook the other day?
Yeah. That's a whole nother day for that. We ain't got time for that conversation.
Yeah, bros with the money is doing a whole lot. So, well, as I said, we just kind of, you know, we wanted to have a little kickback. Sometimes we get a little intense around here. Last week we had a good chop up with D-Love. You know, he dropped his insight on us about making sure, you know, you get your passion out there and do what you love. Kamari, what's some passions you got? What's some things you got coming up here in the next, you know, months and whatnot that we can look forward to, man?
OTC season getting ready to start back up in March. You know, one thing I'll harp on that we're getting ready to harp on to these kids is, if you got kids out there and, you know, you want your kids basically to succeed, either sports, anything in life, you got to let them know it starts in the school. I don't care how good you are at something. All it takes is one blown ACL. All it takes is one ankle break. All it takes is one time to blow your shoulder out. There goes your career. So what do you have to fall back on?
Because you look at it as an option.
And so, like with the athletes, we have a meeting coming up on Wednesday with a lot of the little bit older kids for OTC 12 and up kids, because of course elementary kid is not as important right out the gate. I mean, it's still important, don't get me wrong, but they still have a little bit of time to get a little bit of that out of them as they get ready to transition to middle school and then high school.
No doubt.
But I really want, you know, kids that are in like middle school and then getting ready to high school to know, like, you're setting your road right now. So the path you are starting to take right now basically is going to be the path leading you to where you want to go.
Shaping yourself up for the future right now by your decisions.
And ultimately, I can only teach them by example. So I can only tell them the road and the path that I've gone down and the things that I did not do to help make sure that they don't do it.
So it's like an episode we could have with you specifically then.
Yeah, so
okay.
Basically what I'm getting at is, if you got kids and you got athletes, you know, just make sure that they know, you know, hey, yeah, you're good, you're great, you know, you could be a superstar with what you do.
It could be over in one play.
It starts in the classroom.
Facts.
Okay, you got to have a brain. You got to be able to take direction. You got to be able to listen to somebody else other than your parents.
Got to be teachable and coachable.
And that's two of the hardest things that people have in life. Something I had to learn, because I was a hard-headed kid. I didn't like taking direction. I didn't like someone telling me what to do. I thought I knew it all. until I got to that point where life smacked me in my face, and I had to sit it down. Like
life will Kung Fu Panda you real fast.
Maybe it is something I need to do. So if you got kids and your kid, isn't necessarily going down that path that they want them to do, sit them down. Let them know, hey, tell them a little bit of your life lesson. Maybe you didn't have a rocky road necessarily yourself, but I guarantee somebody in your family that you were close to, somebody had that rocky road.
Somebody did. I know we'll be keeping in touch with you for the OTC updates. We'll be working definitely with OTC, Sam, just so you know that ahead of time. OTC stands for the Olympus Track Club. That's down here with Raymond Adams. Sam, you were there laughing. I was just making sure you knew ahead of time, my G. I didn't want you to be surprised. I was like, hey, man, come out to this track with me, man.
If you do have a kid between the ages of 8 and 18, you feel that your kid is fast, you feel that your kid is coachable.
And, I was just going to say, you got a baby's kid, keep him at the crib.
Okay. Go to Olympus Track Club, fill out a registration form. I will put it out there. We do have a limit on how many kids we are wanting because we don't want to make our club be a club where we have 200 kids and we've got some kids that don't get the focus and the attention that's needed. So we have a cap on how many kids we're going to have. So this is, me as a coach. Now I don't speak for all the other coaches, but I do know from previous conversations I've had with the coach, there may be some kids that may not make it. Okay, so please don't get your feelings hurt if you decide to fill out a registration form and unfortunately your kid is not one of those kids that make it. That doesn't mean that there's not a chance for your kid to make it in the future. But with the cap that we have,
it mean right now your kid's slow.
Not even that. Your kid may not be coachable.
Oof, slow.
But we just want it to be known that it's not anything to do with we don't like your kid. Your kid not loved. Your kid doesn't have.
Might not be. I'm not gonna lie.
But it's just the fact that we want to make sure that we can give every single kid that we coach the attention that they deserve. We don't want to be one of those clubs that have an enormous amount of kids
without guidance.
But we're focusing on these 50 kids because we feel they're gifted.
Understood. Well, I know we'll be tuned into that. I know Mac will be back next week. Sam, he told me to tell you he misses you and he's happy that he can put his shoes on at his crib. And we should be able to do it here since there's a floor. But that's neither here nor there. Willie will be back next week too. Sam, appreciate you sitting in with us, dropping your knowledge on the black quarterbacks and the situation as such. We gonna keep everything rolling. Make sure you subscribe to Day 724. There's a lot of big events we got coming up. On that note, we'll be coming back with Lavelle Rogers. Got a couple other musicians as well. Oh.